Gratitude, like faith, is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it grows. Alan Cohen. Welcome to this episode of Choose, where an actor
and a therapist
pull up a couch on the stage of life
and help you use your power of choice to create emotional abundance by applying an attitude of gratitude.
I'm Cindy Barlow, the actor.
And I'm Wendy Rawlings, the therapist.
And our mission is to remind you that you can't choose your challenges,
but you can choose your response.
Do you know the fastest way to improve your quality of life? Be grateful. In every episode of Choose, Wendy and I are all about finding practical ways to improve your life. So please stay to the end because we have some great ideas on how to improve your emotional abundance by practicing gratitude. You know, negativity is a human tendency, and pessimism actually is a habit. And this habit creates a kind of emotional poverty. We always feel like we just never have enough. Well, today we're going to focus on how to bring emotional abundance into our lives through practicing gratitude. Now, emotional poverty starts in the brain.
Yeah. What is it about our brain that makes us turn to the worst case scenario rather than focus on the positive? Because it happens most of the time. Hyperactive negative thoughts are developed in your right prefrontal cortex. In that part of your brain just above your eyeball, you're going to find that place. And this is the part of the brain which is responsible for your negative thoughts. For people who think negatively for long periods of time or who experience depression, research has shown that this part of the brain gets overly developed because we've used it more. And you can say that it sort of looks like an overtrained muscle in the bodybuilder who uses way too many steroids.
So people who are overusing this part of their brain are actually only working the negative side of their personality.
Exactly. When we train a muscle every day, of course, it becomes larger and more powerful, whether it's in our brain or in our body.
So what part of our brain needs to be activated, Wendy, to create positive thoughts? Which part do we need to strengthen?
So we need to move from the right side to the left side. It's those positive thoughts are developed in the left prefrontal cortex, the top left part of your brain. During periods of feeling down, pessimistic, stressed, depressed, this zone gets underdeveloped.
So basically, when we're feeling negative, we need to take our left prefrontal cortex to the gym. Is that right?
Correct. To the gratitude gym. To the brain gym. That's right. And one way to do this is to put our brain on what we're going to call our gratitude training workout. This will rebalance the left and right side of our brains. And slowly but surely, when you mindfully think positively, the volume of your left brain prefrontal cortex, which holds those positive thoughts, will get bigger. And this change doesn't happen overnight, but it definitely happens. Alan Cohen said that gratitude, like faith, is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it grows. Some studies suggest that you need about 30 days to feel like you've experienced significant brain change.
Yes. So today we want to send you to the gratitude gym, and we've created a gratitude workout program for you, and we're calling it Emotional Abundance in 30 Days with an Attitude of Gratitude. Gratitude positively affects three parts of our lives: health, our ability to be resilient, and it also creates joy in our lives. So gratitude and health, it's feeling thankful. When you feel thankful, it just improves your health, and in a direct way, and then also in an indirect way. Some research actually shows that the experience of gratitude can induce a sense of relaxation and it improves the immune system, and it actually decreases blood pressure too. But grateful people also tend to just be healthier and have healthier habits like eating nutritious food and exercising and just avoiding behaviors that are risky in their lives. And also, in addition, optimism that stems from gratitude can create an healing attitude. They've actually found that research shows that optimistic attitudes with people who are coming out of surgery or medical procedures, they do better.
That is true. That is true. And another way that gratitude helps is it builds our resilience. Um, Practicing gratitude helps handle the difficulties that arise in life. They also help us help the attitude of gratitude helps us process our trauma and heal from trauma. Even when we feel despair, if we feel appreciation, even just a little bit, for the good that is happening, if we look around us and see the good, that really does help. For example, Holocaust survivors were experienced a strong sense of gratitude for food and shelter and clothing that was offered to them, and that sense of thankfulness for these tiny things helped them maintain their humanity despite the incredible hardships that they went through. It also we found that people with life-threatening illnesses, if they can maintain a sense of gratitude for what is going well, it really does help their overall outcome. Recent MRI studies have also mapped the gratitude circuitry in the brain, and it activates a sense of reward, of fairness, and decision making, and it helps with trauma. It helps facilitate survival.
Yeah, yeah. And then just gratitude and joy, like there's acknowledging the good things in your life has a tendency to actually amplify those positive emotions such as joy and contentment, which we've talked about and we all want, because it also helps us to slow down. When we notice the positive things more, that magnifies the pleasure that we actually feel from life. I mean, for instance, consider the last time you just took a hot shower, and were you paying attention to the feeling of the water and the heat on your back or on your face, and just enjoying the fragrant smells of the soap and just feeling your body being scrubbed? It's easy to ignore these small amounts of positivity in our day, and because we just rush from one activity to another, but stopping to appreciate them makes them actually more powerful.
Yeah. And psychologist Brene Brown, in her research on people who are grateful, found that there is a relationship between joy and gratitude, but with this surprising twist. She says it's not joy that makes us grateful, but gratitude that makes us joyful.
Right on.
Yeah, think about that for a minute. So we have control over our joy just by being grateful. So a daily gratitude practice promotes positive mood, hope, resilience. And as we experience these positive emotions like gratitude, loving kindness, compassion, our awareness broadens and our creativity, our problem solving capacities blossom and bloom. And we become more effective in whatever we choose to do. So that's why we're going to offer you a 30-day gratitude workout to help put your right brain online.
I push-ups.
And balance it with the right side of your brain. So there's a lot of things to be grateful for. We're going to go through just a quick list of things that we're grateful for, and then we'll do something with that list.
Yeah. So, like, first of all, I think the body is a really wonderful thing to be grateful for. Number one, it's my primary relationship. It's the only relationship I'll have every single day of my life. But when we think about it, your heart has been beating even before you were born. It was beating, and it keeps beating for you every day. Your food, your body digests your food. Your lungs breathe in. There's just so many things that your body is doing all the time without you ever thinking about it, and we don't ever really thank our bodies. I think that one of the ways that we can look at gratitude more thoroughly is if we pretended like, well, what if this wasn't real? Like, what if something did happen to my heart, or what if something happened? Those are the times when we really feel gratitude. But let's not wait for those things to happen before we start loving our bodies and feeling grateful for them.
Well, and most of us have a love or hate relationship with our
That's
bodies.
right.
We're either too short, too tall, too fat, too thin, too whatever. And we look at other people and go, I want that body. I don't want this body. And that was my life for a long time. And I developed knee problems. And I remember sitting in the car at a grocery store while my husband was inside shopping and watching people walk. And they walked to the grocery store without, it looked like without pain. Their knees were working. And I would just sit there and marvel at their knees and think, wow. And then one day I realized I was being really mean to my body and I wasn't appreciating and being grateful for it. And I realized I have a sturdy body and it was doing the best that it could with everything I was throwing at it. And once I started to appreciate my sturdy body more, it actually performed better with less pain. And part of it was because I just chose to take better care of it because I appreciated it better.
And you know something, even when you are sick, let's say you even have like some kind of very life-threatening disease, still probably more than 80 part of your body, 80% of your body is still really functioning well. And we only focus on the little bit that's not.
It's not working. And
Yeah,
even that part that's not working, every part of us is trying to repair what
absolutely. The
we are. So
body's so wise.
really, we just
Yeah.
appreciate our sturdy bodies and
Yeah.
what we have. So the second thing we can look at to appreciate and have gratitude for is our home. And our homes, they shelter us, they care for us. Hopefully they nurture us. It's a place that hopefully we can feel safe, secure, etc. But if we don't, even looking for what is in your home that you have to be grateful for, the bed that you sleep in, whatever things are around that you enjoy, it's really nurturing and important to give thanks for those and notice those and imagine what life would be like without them.
And you know, some of those things that are really precious, you know, like paintings, like Wendy and I love having certain paintings, and you know, you just love looking at them and just being grateful for them, or the grateful for the artist that made them. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one behind me in particular is, I just love it.
That
During
was your
times of COVID,
granddaughter.
yeah, my granddaughter painted this for as a school project, and I saw it and I said, "Oh, I have to have that. It needs to be in my office." And it's in my home office right now because I don't go to my office very often because of COVID, but I will. That's where it will hang when I get back there full time. But I do love their art is very powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And behind me, I'll even make it just a little higher. That's Deborah Barlow, a very dear friend of mine. And when I saw this painting, I felt the same way, to have it. So you know, just those things, being grateful for that, and you know that kind of takes us to being grateful to our friends and to our family and partners. And one of the things that we we do is like we think we know everyone, so we stop looking at them. We stop like sort of listening to them because we already
Noticing them.
think we know
Yeah.
what they look like or what they're going to say. But you
Yeah.
know, by slowing down again with gratitude and just observing them and just taking time to watch their facial expressions, and you know, even if they're not in front of you, you can close your eyes, or even if they're not alive, you can close your eyes and just see them in as much detail as possible. And you know, another way to just be more grateful is to think of what your life would be without them. What would your life be like without them? Imagine that you lost them and this was the last time you saw them. That's a really good one to think about right before you pick a fight with someone.
It's
You know, like,
it's
how would
really
you like this moment to feel?
your last. And I have clients who did have that happen, and their regret
Oh,
was powerful and
yeah.
deep and hurtful. So, yeah. And so I just have to say I'm really grateful for my actor sister, Cindy, my actor, author, talented sister, Cindy. She's just an important part of my life. And I just like to behold her, just take the time to just look at her with my heart. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful experience.
Oh, thank you, Wendy. I feel
So,
the same. I feel the same. It's so nice to have a therapist for a sister, believe me. Many
oh, yeah.
times. I'm very
Blessing
grateful.
that, right? Um, so that brings us to our next thing, which is to some of us is as important as family, and sometimes it is family, and that's food. And again,
We
we have
have to talk about food.
we have mixed relationships with food. Food could be fuel, but food can be comfort, etc. Probably shouldn't be, but food is a way to nourish ourselves. And imagine what it would be like if we didn't have an abundance of food, and some of us don't. Some of us choose to restrict the kinds of foods that we eat, and sometimes that's healthy, and sometimes it's not. But one of the greatest things to do with food is to be really mindful of how you eat it. And one of the great exercises for that, mindfulness exercises, is to take a small piece of food. It could be a raisin, it could be a grape, it could be, a piece of a strawberry, and just look at it, just behold it before you eat it. And then when you eat it, just put it in your mouth and taste it, roll it around in your mouth, let all your taste buds taste it, and then slowly chew it and just work it into its smallest component part before you swallow it. And be thinking, wow, I'm just so grateful that I have taste buds,
Yeah.
and that I have teeth, and that I have a mouth, and that we all enjoy what I'm eating right now. So just eating food with gratitude helps us slow down and really enjoy. You're noticing the slow down theme here, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, exactly. Like,
do things
woo, yeah, slow it
automatically.
down.
Yeah.
And the other thing about food, I have lots of foodie friends and they're really good cooks.
Yeah.
But what I always love is that they make the presentation look so beautiful. So it's like a piece of art. So you already have to appreciate it. But I
Yeah.
think the other thing is to not eat in front of a screen if you can too, because
It's true.
we really get numbed out if we're watching TV while we're eating. So like take time to sit and enjoy your food and maybe a conversation with
Yeah.
someone else. It's a really wonderful way
Yeah.
to practice gratitude. And the other thing that we came up with was that there are so many people that serve us. Before we started here, my electricity went out twice, and there are people that have been out trying to. We got it back, but those are the people that are constantly doing things. Like mail carriers, firefighters, policemen. The person that checks your groceries out. And teachers and waiters and your car repairmen. All those people. And sometimes we get really upset if things aren't going our way and we don't necessarily treat them so well, and we're not that grateful because but there's so many things that people do for us all the time. And I noticed that if I call up the phone company, for instance, and I am like all upset about something, I just don't have the best conversation. But if I stop first and just start with gratitude, thank you so much for your time, how are you doing, and then it just changes the whole conversation, and they want to help me more. So
They
that's
do.
another.
They do. Their intention changes as we treat
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
I have a good friend who is just he's very kind, and he's aware of everyone. And when he sees someone that is a service person, he'll always go up and thank them and ask them their name. If they're not wearing a name tag, he'll thank them by name for what they do. And you can tell what a difference it makes. But I asked him one day why he does that, and he said people like to be noticed. And it makes me more grateful, more thankful for people when I address them by name and I notice what they're doing. It
What a
makes me
great
feel happy.
practice. That's a
Yeah, it
great
really is.
practice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we all like hearing our names.
Oh, yeah, it's very important.
Wendy, don't you?
Well, yeah, yes, indeed, I do. Um, another way to feel gratitude, and this one is such a great way, is to slow down and experience peaceful experiences. We all have them, and a lot of times because they're peaceful and quiet and they don't come in announced, we don't notice them, or we don't take time to just drink them in and feel them and take them into our souls and feel grateful for them. It could be a sunset, it could be that shower Cindy was talking about, it could be a warm bath, it could be a good night's sleep, it could be a hug, it could be a compliment, it could be hearing your favorite song. I have a clock that plays a song every on the hour, and there's 6 different
Mm,
songs it plays.
wow.
And my husband brought it home for me one year for Christmas, and I really love it. But it plays one of my favorite nostalgic songs. And if I'm having a bad day and I come downstairs and it happens to be playing that song, it just does something to my heart. And I'm so grateful for him for getting it for me, for the songwriter for writing it, and for the universe for playing it at that moment that I just needed that extra lift.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, and there's just so much many riches. We were just looking at the we just had a blue moon, and we were just looking up at it, and we were I was just with a group of friends, and we were looking up at it, and it was like, it doesn't matter how rich or poor you are, if you're a pauper, if you know, we're all looking at the same moon. We all have the same moon, and it's so beautiful. And just enjoying nature is such an easy way to just be so grateful, especially now, in this at this time, in our lives.
Yeah.
And so the last one we're going to talk about is just challenges, because they're the hardest ones really to be able to feel grateful for. If something happens to me that I'm not expecting, something, I'm expecting someone to be there and they cancel, or any of those things, it's sometimes really hard to go to gratitude. But I really notice I try this little practice where immediately if something happens that I didn't like or I don't like, immediately say some gratitude and just start to go into believing that something better is going to happen, or that I've been protected in some way, that somehow, the universe is taking care of me, that, God's got my back.
And that reframe immediately changes from the right brain worry,
Yes,
catastrophizing, to the left brain and building the left brain where it needs to build. And it's just as true. The good stuff is just as true as the
totally.
false stuff, or as the
Well, if you
negative.
go back and look at my life, I think, oh, this really good thing that that person broke up with me, or whatever, like whatever it is like,
Dodged a
it's
bullet
fair.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I look back on my life and I realize that the challenges that I had, really, that were my enemies, and I hated them. I did not like them. I wouldn't want to go through them again, but they were my best friends.
Yes.
They taught me and they created me for who I am, because it forced me to reach farther, and it was a good thing.
Yeah.
Not at the time. And so I know that there are some of you that are listening who are saying, "Oh, Wendy and Cindy, you're just seeing the world through all these rose-colored glasses, and you're just not being practical."
You Pollyannas, you.
Yeah, you Pollyannas. And we know that life is hard. We've both experienced hard life.
Yep.
And we know that when you're in that spot where the pit is so deep and so despairing in these challenges, it can seem like there is no way out. You just can't see a way out. It's just that hard. And so the reason we come across as so Pollyanna-ish with our rose-colored glasses is to let you know that, yeah, there is a way out, but you have to reach for it. It's not going to reach for you.
No.
And
Especially if
so
your right brain is really heavy and overworked. Yeah.
that is right. That is exactly right. So what we want to do is give you some practical ways to reach for it.
And
And
these
so,
are easy ways. They're not hard. They're not
oh
even
no, they're,
they're not even painful.
yeah. If you're in the pit of despair, you don't want hard. You're already
Yes,
you're already
exactly.
wallowing in hard. So, and
Exactly.
if you're not in hard, hot dog, this will make it
I
even
know. It'll make
better.
it better. Yeah.
That's right. So the first week, it's a 4-week challenge. Easy stuff. So 4-week challenge. The first week, write down 10 things every day. Write down 10 things that you're grateful for about your health, or your body, or your brain. And this should total 70 things by the end of the week. Make them different every day, but write them down
Yeah.
and make them real by writing them down.
And we actually gave you one that might be the most challenging, because our bodies are not necessarily, even though they're our primary relationship, we do have problems with them. So it's just going to get you thinking about how grateful you are
You
for your
can't break
body.
up with your primary
No,
relationship on
like
this.
this morning, I wrote down gratitudes for my body. I stubbed my toe the other day, and it's really swollen. And I wrote down, I have, I have 9 healthy toes.
Great reframe.
Exactly. I rephrased it.
And swelling indicates it's healing.
And
So
exactly, it is healing. And that's the second thing I wrote down is my toe is healing. So
so see how easy it is if
it
you're in the
really
pit of
is.
despair?
You can find, if you look for it, you can find it.
You can. Yeah.
Okay, the second week, you're going to write down things that you're grateful for about 7 different people. So every day you're going to pick a different person. Let it be somebody that's important to you in your life. Somebody that, maybe somebody that you live with. That's a really good one to start with, because those are the hardest ones. And then write 10 things that you really are grateful for about them. And then if you want, you can read it to them, which I think be helpful for any kind of relationships, because people love gratitudes.
They do, especially when it's about them. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. The third week, write down 10 things you're grateful for every day that have to do with those peaceful experiences that build your soul. And these could be at any time in your life. It could be from the time you're born to today. So write down 10 peaceful experiences that have built you and just reflect upon the question, if I hadn't have had this experience,
Mm,
how would my life have been different without it?
yeah. Yeah. 'Cause I always say that it's never too late to have a happy childhood. It's just that we always just focus on the unhappy part. But if we start really focusing on it, you really see it was pretty good, you know.
That's right.
Um, the fourth week is going to be about writing things that you're grateful for about the place where you live or work or play. And these are the places that we spend a lot of time in. And so to just be able to look around and see, and especially at work, work is sometimes very hard to feel grateful for a boss that you're not thrilled with, or employees that you don't feel like are doing pulling their part, or whatever it is. And um, I think that one of the things when I was in school for acting, and I got a role that I wasn't so pleased with, because all of our class got these, we were in this play and we all got these different roles. And I really wasn't pleased with my role. And so I went to the director because I was going to sort of try and protest it in a certain way. And I went to the director and I said, I want to talk to you about this role. And then before he said anything, before I could say anything else, I could see on his face that he was really concerned that I was going to kind of fight him about this role. And so I thought, oh dear, I don't think I want to go down. My intuition said, do not go down that road. And so I said, thank you so much for casting me in that part. And the thing was it turned it around for me, because it was like, let me see what I can do with this. And he was so relieved and happy. But I was going to get cast in that part anyway. It's probably, I wouldn't have been able to argue my way out of it, I'm sure. And that part really was good for me. So that's one thing to do. Find the
That's
gratitudes.
great. That is great. So, if you really want to make this exercise more potent and go deep into your soul, read your gratitudes to someone every day. And like Cindy said, if there's someone on your list that you're grateful for, tell them about it. There is power in hearing yourself talk about your gratitude. It
So
activates a
much.
different part of your brain. Yeah.
Yeah. So much power. And when you finish this 30-day challenge, you can create your own categories and just keep it up, because think about how strong your left side of your brain will be if you do this, say, for 3 months, or maybe even a year or 3 years. You'll just be so strong. Your positivity will be.
The left prefrontal would be amazing.
Yeah.
So, as an illustration of this, 100 years ago when I was in high school, well, I had a teacher that loved poetry, and I still to this day don't really love poetry, but we had to memorize poems. And to his great credit, he had us memorize character building poems. And at the time, I thought they were a little hokey and old fashioned. Now, all these years later, they are way hokier and way more old fashioned. However,
But like Emily Dickinson, still can still be in style. Yeah.
that's true. And you know what? I don't even know who wrote this poem, but I want Cindy and I to read it to you. It is old fashioned, it is hokey, and it is actually beautiful. And because I had it memorized, it was deep inside me. It actually influenced my life, the whole rest of my life. And when I was in a challenging spot, I would reflect on this, and it gives perspective, and it gives sort of a little bit of a mantra to say when you're having a hard time, and a way to be grateful. So here is the poem.
Okay, so I'll start with it. Okay, it says, today upon a bus, I saw a girl with golden hair. I envied her. She seemed so gay, and I wished I was as fair. When suddenly she rose to leave, I saw her hobble down the aisle. She had one leg and used a crutch, but as she passed, she gave a smile. Oh God, forgive me when I whine. I have two legs. The world is mine.
I stopped to buy some candy. The lad who sold it had such charm. I talked with him. He seemed so glad. If I were late, it'd do no harm. And as I left, he said to me, I thank you. You've been so kind. It's nice to talk to folks like you. You see, he said, I'm blind. Oh God, forgive me when I whine. I have two eyes. The world is mine.
Later, while walking down the street, I saw a child with eyes of blue. He stood and watched the others play. He seemed not to know what to do. I stopped a moment and then I said, "Why don't you join the others, dear?" He looked ahead without a word, and then I knew he couldn't hear. Oh God, forgive me when I whine. I have 2 ears, the world is mine.
With feet to take me where I go, and eyes to see the sunsets glow, with ears to hear what I should know. Oh God, forgive me when I whine. I'm blessed indeed. The world is mine. And since gratitude can change your health and well-being, it's a simple prescription for negativity, and it doesn't cost us anything.
Mm-mm.
And it's the easiest way to have a beautiful life once we learn how to do it.
Yeah, that's right. And a beautiful life is created in a conscious way, and gratitude adds beauty to every event. Without gratitude, we have emotional poverty because no matter what we have, it's not going to feel like enough. And, Oprah Winfrey once said, "Be thankful for everything you have. You'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never have enough." And Wendy and I are grateful that you chose to hang out with us today. And if you want any tools and on coaching or more tools, you can go to our website. My website is www.cindyloubarlow.com. And if you want to check out my book, it's Playing You, A Star is Born. That's it right there. And you can go on Amazon to check that out.
It's a great book. It's a great book. I'm grateful for it. And I have a website, wendyrawlings.com. It's got ideas for life, and you're welcome to visit there too. You can find the 30-day emotional prosperity challenge listed in the notes below, or you can go to our websites and download a worksheet if you'd like to do that.
Yes. And next time, we're going to be sharing 3 secrets to a great family relationship. And we have a very good relationship coach with us.
Yes. Um,
Until next time, remember that you can't choose your challenges.
but you can choose your responses.
Please don't leave this page without subscribing and leave suggestions in our comment section for future topics.
We are grateful for you. Please choose to interact with us.
Please do. Thank you so much.